What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from Girard, Ohio, at that Petro out there. I was gonna stop at the Truck World, but I got some shower credits here, and I definitely needed to grab a shower today, so we're gonna be getting to that. Just want to talk about the money situation. You know, I had not my particular money, but just money at Prime, things like that. You know, I did a video, I think my last video previous to this one, where I was it was kind of a rant, and I think some people might have taken it the wrong way. Listen, you can make more money doing other things than at Prime. The problem is, at least in my perspective, just chasing money all the time. And most of the people that are talking about making all the money, or they're making more money here, making more money there, aren't doing anything with the money. So one thing I learned in my almost 53 years, coming up in a week and a half or something like that, is if you're content with something, man, stick with it. You know, my original plan was to come out here, be a Prime for a year, leave and go to Landstar, do my thing over there for about another year and a half, get my own authority, and be done. Man, I came over to Prime initially, should I say. I wasn't really trying to make as much money as I'm making now. So once things kind of fell into line, and I started looking at what I find to be stress limiting, and this is me in particular. For somebody else it might be something different, but the things that make me feel stress free, Prime has all that. So it kind of shut down everything else that I had planned on doing. So there are several other people that have left Prime. You know, a couple people I talked to on occasion, j.j.the the trucker, Johnson's Logic, they went to Landstar, and I'm sure they're going to make great money, probably even make more money than what they're making at Prime, and that is good for them. So when I'm talking about people failing, I'm not talking about people. You're not a failure if you leave Prime. If that's part of your progression, then that's part of your progression. You're a failure if you leave Prime and blame Prime for why you ended up leaving Prime. But back to my point. This situation works for me. So when people are always harping on the money, I mean, obviously money is important. But to me, the money, like I said, the money I'm making outside of trucking is really what's going to carry me and my wife on. The real estate we have, that alone is, you extrapolate that out about 10 years, that's enough right there. But I'm just trying to get things set into place before I retire, in case I want to buy another home before I retire. It's not that I need to come out here and make $100,000, $120,000, whatever it shakes up to be. I don't necessarily need all that. You know what I'm saying? So could I go to Landstar and make more? Possibly, probably. But then again, it's about, to me, it is, I think when you start getting older, you start getting mellowed out. And that's one of the best things that I think, maybe the only good thing about getting old. But I'm going to tell you a story. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. But it goes back to when I was a young gunner, 21 years old. Jeff just left the Marine Corps, and I got into the car business. And I got in the car business about the same time, maybe about 6 months after this other guy that I got in the car business with. In La Mesa, California. So I'd already worked at one place before I met him, and then ended up chasing money, went to the place where he was at, and met him, worked there for, I don't even remember how long. But I was always constantly chasing the money. So the first place I worked at was kind of like what they would consider a starter company in the car business, worked there, got hired on at this place that I probably shouldn't have been hired on at. This place it's called Drew Ford. It's not Drew Ford anymore, but it's in La Mesa, California. And anyway, great place to work. People stayed there a long time. But when I quit there was another auto dealership that was called Lamb Nissan. I don't think they're around anymore, but they had a used car department. And this is back in like the 91, 92, word was getting around that these used car salespeople at that dealership were making, $8,000-$10,000 a month. Back then, get out there, better money than I was making at the other place. It wasn't no $8,000-$10,000. It might have been 4 or 5, somewhere in there. But then again, another job came up. So anyway, in my car sales career, I probably worked at more places than I can even remember because I was always chasing something. This guy, on the other hand, stayed at the same dealership. He's probably there now. I just spoke with him maybe a year ago and he was still there. Stayed at the same dealership since 1991. He's making more money than he can count right now. He doesn't really work anymore. He's basically by appointment only because his customer base is so big. He doesn't need to basically work the lot or anything like that. And I just learned that from watching him. Patience and getting older. He's about 20 years older than me, so he was, a lot further ahead than me mentally. Now, those same things may not apply in the trucking business, but it definitely served me in the mortgage business because there were times when, other companies were, you're making all the money over here. You can make $300,000 over here. You can make $400,000, and a lot of people would fall for that and go work somewhere else. And they may make that money, but then the company's going out of business, or different things happen, and they just led very unstable lives. And the one gift, I may not be the best husband in the world. I obviously have my flaws and everything, but the one thing that I can give my wife is stability. You know what I mean? And I don't mean stability like the money stability, but stability like she doesn't have to worry about me going from place to place to place, or there always being disruptions, or just a stable life in general. And that could be on a bunch of different levels. So I kind of look at this the same way. A lot of people that are in this career, obviously most of them are younger than me, are in it to build something. I'm in this to finish up my life. You know what I'm saying? My work life. I'm in it to put a few more pieces in place before we shut it down. Now, I'm not sure when we plan on shutting it down. I mean, obviously it depends on, if we wanted to shut it down, we could probably shut it down now. It's just how good would that life be, and you have medical insurance and stuff like that to kind of think about. So I'm just trying to get things in a position where we can not only have a retirement, but a great retirement. And I don't want to put a lot of my money in the middle right now. I'm not trying to, although it would be nice to go out and get a 389 Peterbilt, run that for a while just to kind of get that experience. I'm really not trying to come out of my pocket with a lot of money or a lot of exposure, whether that's exposure credit-wise, money-wise. The $30,000 or $33,000 or whatever I've put down on these 2 trucks in the last 2 years, that's about the most exposure I want. You know what I'm saying? And to me, even if I gave this truck back today, it's already paid for that $14,000 over and over again. So waning point in my life. You know, if people leave Prime and go to another company, and listen, I'm all for people bettering themselves. But just because more money can be made somewhere else doesn't make that situation better. Because listen, if you're chasing money, you will always be chasing, because there's always more money. If I was chasing money out of, think about it like this. If I was chasing money, especially after working the hours I've been working out, literally, and this is no exaggeration, you work this many hours in the mortgage business, you're making $500,000, $600,000 a year. But you just can't maintain that. But my point is, there's always more money out there. Okay? And just because somebody makes more money doesn't make them more successful. Oftentimes it makes them less successful because they're a little bit too free with their money, should I say, if they don't have the right mindset. But anyway, for the people that were asking if I was thinking about leaving to go to Landstar after those couple of people left, no. I can almost guarantee you that I'm going to be at Prime for the tenure of my trucking career, which is probably going to slow down. You know what I'm saying? I got this second truck coming in November. The term on that's going to be 3 years. You know, when both these trucks are paid off, or maybe when just one of these trucks are paid off, which isn't going to be much longer for this one, then it's going to be like maybe I run half as much as I do now, or something like that. So I mean, there are a lot of things that I'm taking into consideration here. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. Sorry I haven't got to the comments, but the Northeast just takes it out of me. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, I was able to get a load out of the Northeast right outside Boston, delivering in Streetsboro, and I got the load, Friday. It doesn't deliver till as late as midnight on Sunday. So today is Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm about 45 miles away from the drop. I told fleet management that I plan on dropping this tomorrow morning between 6 and 8 a.m. The reason for that is why drop it today? You know what I'm saying? I got 4 hours left on my clock. I'm really not in that hurry to just go pick up another load and shut down. So I figure my clock would come back tonight about midnight. Why am I going to pick up a load at midnight? And then if I don't get a load right away, deal with all the parking headaches, although I am in an easy place to park at night. But the Streetsboro, Ohio Walmart, if I remember correct, there's a bunch of construction over there. I'd rather just deal with that in the daytime. And if I remember correctly, their trailer situation's a little jacked up. So you know what? Let me just sit around, get some good sleep, and drop this off tomorrow morning. Pick up a load with almost my whole clock, and go from there. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking Transportation. Had a couple people holler at your boy. I was at the TA in Pennsylvania, exit 78. Somebody hollered at your boy. And then somebody from forget the company, he shouted me out on the CB as well. So if you guys happen to be watching this, I appreciate the shout out. Other than that, I'm gonna come back here, lay down and go to sleep. There's a book that an audio book that I'd listened to. I might play it as I go to sleep, but I've already listened to it once. But if you're into kind of societal factors and things like that, it goes into what is the biggest predictor in somebody being successful in life or not. Man, I forgot the name of that. Forgot the name of the book. One of his books is Outliers, which is a totally different book, but man, I wish I could remember the name of that book. Anyway, I might have to talk about that book. If anybody's interested, leave it in the comments below. I can kind of give you a synopsis of that book. At least tell you what the number one predictor is. Don't want to spoil it for anybody that might be interested in listening to an audiobook that's a little on that intellectual level. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. Thanks for stopping by No EB Truck and Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.